Hey everybody, welcome to a slightly different X-Plane 11. I am Bill, and yeah, I'm playing some X-Plane 11 in VR today, and I am really excited about it because this is game-changing. It's fantastic. So a couple of things. First of all, I apologize for the scaling on the video. Um, I'm using an Oculus, and I've been so focused on getting this to run in X-Plane that I haven't really figured out a good way to have it run the full aspect ratio um, on the stream on the video. So you're gonna have those black bars on the side. I think it's showing just one of the eyes, I think is what it's doing. So I can set it to show either left eye, right eye, or both, which would be a mirror, and that's even more unwatchable than it is now. But so this, I'm just going to do kind of a really brief, high-level overview of my experience in VR in X-Plane 11 first, and then I've got some more videos planned as well. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I'm going to do some. I'm just going to have some fun with VR because it's super awesome. So. First off here is you can see that we're in this enormous hangar, which we'll explore here in a minute. Got this beautiful 747. To my right, got a King Air, a couple 172s, and really beautiful 737 Delta. And then in front of me I have this kind of whiteboard looking thing with the standard X-Plane menu. So this is exactly how it is in the desktop version of the game. No difference, but to activate the VR experience, you basically open up settings, go to graphics, and then you go to enable VR hardware, and it brings you right here. So I have an i5 overclocked with a 1066 gig, so pretty average. I mean, I think a lot of people have that set up. It's great for 1080p gaming. It's not great for high detail VR. So I've got it pretty low. World objects, I got minimal. Reflection detail, minimal. As you'll see, the cockpit looks gorgeous, but the environment is just a little bit lacking. But that's just to get the frame rate as high as possible. So again, this is just the standard menu here. So we've got the touch controllers. They're not modeled exactly like the Rift or the Vive touch controllers, but they are very close, and they've got full movement. It's awesome. I mean, the tracking on the Oculus at least is fantastic. I've used a Vive as well. They're both great. So the functionality we have is the right hand does. Actually, maybe the left hand does too. Yeah, so the left and right hand kind of work the same. You use the trigger once you've pointed at something to initiate it, and then you use the right or left stick to warp. So if I go over here and I push down the right stick, I've got this little warp device here, and while holding down the stick, that little red line indicates which direction you'll be looking at. So if I want to go over here and look at the back rear three-quarter of this King Air, go like that, and now it faces me there. Now if I want to go to the 747 and go under the wing maybe and look at the engine, go here, there it is. And it's enormous. The textures are really bad on this one, but it's still really cool to see this, especially this the tail. I mean, it's huge. 737, the detail on that is really fantastic. I mean, just absolutely beautiful plane. The 172s are a little bit light on details. It's not like the full user-ready plane, but it's to scale. I mean, I'm sitting down, but if I stood up, let me just stand up here. You can see that you actually change in relation to the plane. So I'm sitting down on a chair. It looks as if I'd be sitting down looking at it. I mean, just an enormous space, and it really does feel like you're in this space. So, in order to get back to that menu, you can either kind of manually go over there. If you just see here, it's still there, or no matter where you are, let's just go like way over here. If I can kind of go up here, I can go up here and look at the boxes. This is cool. I never even saw this. No way. Oh, right. My head is right in the way of that beam. This is insane. This is totally insane. Okay, so no matter where you are, if you hit the menu button, which is the little 3 horizontal lines, brings you right back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to New Flight, go to the default Cessna, not the G1000 one. I'm going to go to Tacoma Narrows for a couple of reasons. Oops. Let's make sure we're... Dang. Okay, I'm going to go to right there, and right there, and let's start flight. Okay. So while this is loading, let's see here. Okay, so while this is loading, I'll tell you a little bit about my super janky setup at the moment. So I've got the headset on. I don't have a standalone mic, so I have my headset mic combo around my neck right now for my mic. And then to my left, I have a TV tray with my flight stick on it for a couple of reasons. One, I don't have rudder pedals yet. If I had rudder pedals, all I would need is these 2 controllers, and that's it. But since I don't have the rudder set up, I need something to be able to use the rudders and taxi around. There's no functionality that I've found using the touch controllers to manipulate the rudder, whether it's on the ground or in the air. So I've got the stick to my left, and the reason I have it to my left is because if I am sitting at the desk, if there's something below where the desk is, I'm not able to reach it. So here, whoa, okay. So here we're in the plane. So if there's something like the parking brake, if I'm sitting at the desk, I can't reach that because the desk is in the way. So I'm sitting back from the desk, and I've got my flight stick to my left, and that has seemed to work out okay for me so far. Okay, so my first impressions of being in the cockpit in VR is this is one of the coolest and weirdest things I've ever experienced. It, honest to God, feels like I am in a Cessna 172, and it's fantastic. It's so bizarre sitting in here, looking around. You've got, and I'm sorry, everything's loading in right now, so the frame rates are going to be pretty bad, and it's going to be jumping around here a little bit, but it's unbelievable. It feels real. I mean, it feels like I can just reach out and touch these buttons, and if you lean forward, everything's in 3D. I mean, it is like being in the plane. It's the weirdest thing ever. And once we're in the air, I'll show you kind of what that translates to in terms of being able to fly, and how much easier it makes flying in the simulator versus the 2D desktop version. So okay, you push in the right stick and you can move around inside the plane. So you can go in the co-pilot seat, you can look behind, you can go in the rear. This is in beta, so I mean it's not perfect. I mean, I just teleported into the seat here. It's kind of has a mind of its own as to what orientation it's got you, and I don't know if that's me or if that is the simulator, but I mean, this is weird. It's super strange to be in the space. I mean, it feels like I have to duck, like I'm going to hit my head. And oddly enough, actually, if you do stand up, it brings you outside of the plane, so you can get some really cool views just by popping yourself out of the plane. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's get situated here. So for the startup procedure, I'm going to use both controllers, and then once I actually am ready to fly, I don't need my left controller anymore, so I can just set that down on the desk. And that opens up as well. You can see the gear. It's really, it's so cool. Okay, so first thing is I'm going to get the batteries on. If you notice it get black or stutter or something, it's trying to load in. So instead of like being really choppy, it just kind of turns black. So I see black in the headset. I don't know what you can see. It may not affect what you're seeing, but it does affect what I'm seeing. So okay, so we've got the battery on. Let's get the beacon. Flick that on. You point at something until there's a little rumble in the stick, so you know you're touching something, and then in order to manipulate it, you just hold down the trigger and interact with it, and it'll move. So if I hit this, hold the trigger, I can move it in and out just like that. Same with this, in and out. Okay, so let's get the engines started up here. Crack the throttle a little bit, and it's, I mean, you're just using the real life motions, so there's very little learning curve. Let's get the avionics on, and this is weird. I mean, you can just look right up there, and it's just the full thing. If I move around, I mean, everything's in 3D. It's too cool. Okay, let's down a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this over on this table, which is really funny because if I go and look over here, you can still see it sitting outside of the door. Okay, and now I'm just reaching to my left and grabbing the stick, and there it is. You can see the rudder's going. I actually do really like flying with both controllers, but for right now I'm going to take off because I'm going to need a lot of rudder with the stick, and then I'll probably show you the flying with both controllers as well. Okay, so let's get on the light. So click, pull that up, strobe. Don't need taxi or landing right now. Okay, I'm gonna actually move a little bit back here, and okay. All right, so we've got some traffic up there. That guy's waiting for us, and let's check the flight controls. Behind us, got elevator, got rudder. Again, if I just stick my head out here, let's see all the surfaces moving. No wind. Okay. God, this is cool. Okay, so let's, I'm gonna get full. So, see, I'm getting, this is where I have my desk. So you can see this grid. Hopefully you can see that, but that is where my desk is, which is why it is not reading. So let me have to move back a little bit more. Yep, see, it's not, it is not reading it properly, so just kind of resetting it. Okay, so there's full mixture, and let's release the brake, and we're rolling, as you can see. Okay, and let's start giving it some power. Torques to the left a little bit. Alright, we're good. And there's full power. Airspeed is alive. There we go. There's 40, 50, 65. There's our friend there. And let's rotate. And we are flying. Look at that. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. So I'm in Tacoma, and I apologize if I'm yelling right now because the headphones on the Oculus are actually really good, and it under full power it's loud. It sounds like you're in a plane. So I have an ortho scenery for this area, but it's improperly installed and I cannot figure it out. I've gone through the folders and they're in the correct order. However, the world objects do not come through, so it's actually easier on the frames, but it also looks pretty good because it's an ortho scenery. So that's why I've chosen here, and it's just kind of like a really pretty area to fly. So there's the airport. So I'm gonna just come around and do maybe a couple touch and goes, maybe do one landing, one touchdown with the side stick that I have, and then one with the controller. But yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is awesome. The best part about it is spatial awareness and the ability to look at the gauges. So I can fly with my head out of the cockpit. I've got full spatial awareness of the attitude of the plane. I can look out the wing. I know what I'm doing, whereas in 2D, if I'm looking to the left, sometimes you can kind of get, not realize that you're super nose up or something, but this is much easier to tell the attitude of the plane and then come back and glance at all the controls and see exactly what's going on, and just got a much better feel for what your altitude is. So there is the airport. So we're just kind of on like a downwind a little bit. Let's pull it back. And this really is the best part about this, is to be able to fly the plane level, straight, everything, but be able to look around and keep an eye on the airport and really fly like a nice pattern. Pull it back a little bit more. Let's get the first notch of flaps down. And the audio is really, really fantastic as well. I mean, to call this immersive is the biggest understatement ever. So now I can much more easily see my bank indicator, and I can also see that I've got the wing down a little bit. Which before, to be able to see both those things at the same time is really, really hard to do. I love how the windshield's kind of scuffed and dirty there. It looks awesome. Okay, so I'm a little bit high. Let's pull back the power and nose down a little bit. I have a couple of AI airplanes set right now, and there's actually one guy coming in right there. So we are going to come in just after him. Let's get below the desk, so it is not picking up that flaps. And that made my stomach turn a little bit. It takes some getting used to. I mean, the first time I did this, I mean, you almost get sick to your stomach because your brain thinks that this is real. And it is actually harder than I would have expected to land the first couple times because of the fact that it's so disorienting and so much more realistic. So I feel like I'm a lot more nervous. Okay, coming in hot. Yeah, see, I haven't really got the feel for that flare. Okay, so there's touchdown. Let's get the flaps up. Let's go full power. So, in my defense, that was probably the third landing I've done in this. So it was a little bit rough. Okay, now I'm going to switch to, let's get the nose down actually. Now I'm going to switch to both controllers. Okay. Okay, so the control scheme is very simple. It might sound kind of confusing at first, but it really is really easy to get. So you hold it, so now I got full motion, right? I'm not touching anything. Highlight the yoke, press the trigger, and it will lock whichever controller you click with to the yoke. And you got twist left, twist right, easy, and then rotate forward and rotate back for pitch. And again, I don't have rudders, but that's it. Let's do a right pattern. So now I'm able to kind of hold my hand in the position that I normally would in real life, and I've got the use of my right hand. So if I needed to make, an adjustment to, any of the tracking stuff, I can. Or, if I want to change the bug here, which actually I will do. So autopilot, heading, and altitude. And there you go. Oh, gotta let go of the stick. And now we're flying in VR. Or we're flying in VR with autopilot. So I can stick my head out and we get immediate audio change. Back in. Let's stand up here. Check this out. Look at that. I don't know if you can tell the sound change, but it's awesome. So I can debug over here. Can wave hello to Tacoma. And if you haven't noticed, the gyro is not set. So I am not flying west, I am flying south. Okay, so now we got the airport in sight there. We would not want to be flying this low right here because there are two big suspension bridges right here that you would not want to fly this close to. Alright, so let's see if we can do a nice full stop landing. That's a little bit better. So I'm going to turn off autopilot, grab the yoke, and let's get everything set up for landing. Let's get the first notch of flaps in. Yeah, I'm outside of the what do you call them? The little sensors. So it is not picking up the flaps. So I need to probably adjust that. Okay, so got the airport in sight. Now I'm just using my left hand here, and I've got full view of everything that's going on, full surrounding. God, this is so real. I mean, VR, I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard this. It is really hard to explain to somebody without them just trying it. There's no way to convey this sensation. I mean, it is just insane. It's so weird. Okay, so we're at 80. I'm kind of happy with the power right here. I'm gonna maybe come in a little bit fast and then just pull the power right at the end. Ooh, that was much better. Much better. Again, I do not have rudder, so I'm gonna see if I can get this thing to come over. Nope, don't crash it. Hit the brakes. Alright, so that landing, I was happy with that. That gives me a chance to show you this functionality. So this is your menu. So you just hit the 3 horizontal lines there, brings up the menu, and you've got the sticks to kind of select here. You can go to view, go to chase, and you've got outside the plane. That iPad, for some reason, just is permanently kind of see-through on there. I don't know. That's a little bit of a glitch. This is still in beta. Okay, so I'm gonna go here, and then let's open up the menu again and go to replay. And let's rewind it. Okay, and let's do, I think you go back here and then go to pause. Nope, sorry. Here, pause. Okay. Oh man, this is so cool. Look at that landing. Got it. There we go. That was nice. Just super cool. So I'm kind of changing the view with the stick, and that looks awesome. Except for that iPad floating there. Cool. Well, there you go, guys. There is X-Plane 11 in VR. My first impressions. It's unlike anything other than actually flying. So if you've got a computer that can run it even marginally well, you know, like i5 1060 setup, I honestly, this is just the coolest. So I've got some more videos planned. I'm going to try to do some formation flying if I can, do some landings, different places, try out some planes. So subscribe if you haven't already. Look for those videos, and thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope it turned out okay. So, alright guys. Peace.